Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone. Here we are at episode 262 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live in western northeast South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Tommy, did you see that we were not as original as I had once thought on the western northeast South Dakota? That
Dr. Seuss beat us to it.
Really funny. He actually did the exact same thing, but instead of western northeast South Dakota, it was... because it was North Dakota, but it was so it was western southeast North Dakota.
Is that okay? I couldn't remember for sure what the direction.
And then also he did a South Carolina one too.
Oh, he did that one. Okay.
Yeah, it's on the same page. Let me tell you the actual directions he used too, because he said in the far western part of southeast North Dakota. Which is not far from us.
No, it's not.
That's very close to us.
You could make the argument that that's like 50 miles away.
Right, yes, the far western part of southeast North Dakota. And then he also said in the northeastern west part of South Carolina. The northeastern west part of South Carolina.
The man knows the importance of clearly labeling where something's at.
It's funny, the SPUD team, they identify, I believe, as from... the northeastern west part of South Carolina.
Dude,
so I said I knew we had a connection there.
Yeah.
Speaking of the SPUD team, this episode is brought to you by the SPUD team. The goal of SPUD Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-ink-straps.com. And this episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training-related, nutrition and body composition-related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. With dedicated and experienced coaches in each strength and fitness discipline, you can rest assured that you're in the best hands possible. You've got a discount code there. It's MASS, M-A-S-S. That's in all caps. It'll save you 5% off any membership that you purchase from them, so make sure to use that discount code. Save yourself 5%. Today's show is also brought to you by The Strength Co. The Strength Co. makes premium made in America barbell equipment, including their machined and E-coated plates. These plates are functional, easy to handle, accurate, and made to last a lifetime. Brandon Campbell just had a really good review on the Strength Co. plates. I would recommend checking that out on his YouTube channel. It's maybe like 10, 11 minutes long. If you're interested in the plates, definitely go check that out. He makes a lot of good points about them. And or just head over to thestrengthco.com. That's thestrengthco.com. The show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home to the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% with their discount code on all Lifting Large branded products. That discount code is MASS20, and use that when you check out. And last but not least, this episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. Learn more. Visit them at texaspowerbars.com. That's our sponsor rundown for this start of the show. Got several things to talk about today. We've got a very cool guest.
We do.
He's going to join us somewhere on the midpoint of this episode. I've got like 5 little things.
You have little things, yeah. Tanner, and when you bring little things, I get excited because it could be anything.
That's what she said. Okay, so first bit of follow-up on pizza and...
Oh, the pizza milk saga continues.
This isn't dead yet.
Boy.
I've gotten a lot of more continuing to get more feedback on this almost daily. Okay, so I did put in the poll.
Would you say it's polarizing?
It is polarizing, and wait till you hear the results of the poll that emphasizes the
polarity.
Yeah, if that word applies to that. I don't know if
that's how you use that in a sentence.
Okay, so I put it in the story, and it wasn't a yes or no. It was a 3. I wanted it to be a 3 option. Because you brought up a good point, or we together brought up a point. You know, we were getting at it, and you said like, well, maybe it's not that people hate it; they just think it's like
just part of
like
a meal.
like oh yeah, like it's nothing. Like yeah, that's just a thing.
It's like is eating milk and
right,
ribs weird.
Right. Yes, that's a good point. So in the poll, there was 3 choices. It was basically this is great, a great combination. Like wanted something like the idea was like this is awesome, I love this.
Yep.
There was this is okay, and like that would be if you're like I'm indifferent to that basically. And then the last one was gross. So which one do you think? Which of those choices was selected the least? Between gross, great,
I was going to say, now
okay.
that you say it, I could see this being like a 30-30-30 thing. I could see a pretty even split here, but also people like to take a strong stance. So would you say, what was the question? What was the most popular, or what was
it was pizza and milk.
Yeah, but what did you ask me?
What was the least selected answer?
Least selected was probably it's fine.
Yeah, least selected answer at about 23%.
Okay.
Was
so there's
it's
some
fine.
preference going on here.
Yes. And then how about where
that one has to be split? It's probably like 40-40-ish, isn't it?
It's pretty close. You will be happy to know that it was 40% gross.
40% gross.
And then 37% great. So they were very close between great and
that is
gross.
pretty close for an Instagram poll.
And what I guess I thought was interesting is that it's okay was the least, like significantly
that
the
people
least.
were taking a stand here.
Yeah. That the most common and most similar was either yes, this is awesome, or yes, this is terrible.
I think if you're going to ask for people's opinions, though, they're going to take it. No one's going to ride the line, right, Tanner? No one wants to ride the line.
They're taking our
advice. They know the rules around here.
Right. One other thing on pizza versus milk, and I'll probably share this on Instagram, but as long as we're sitting here, this is a movie clip from a movie in 1999. I forgot the title of the movie. It has Michelle Pfeiffer in it. And I'm going to plug this in.
That's not helping me either.
And you can watch it. I came across this in my research, and I'm like, because this is really
in my research.
Yeah.
What pizza? Google pizza and milk.
Yes, and that's like there's multiple
discussions about
blog posts or
really?
like basically what we used to do with Massenomics. People doing that of pizza and milk. Yes. So we'll see if this works here. This is from some shitty movie I found on YouTube. It's from like the 90s, and it had Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
Could I have some milk, please?
You do milk with pizza?
Yeah. I like milk with pizza.
Imagine the director being like, okay, now everyone keep a straight face for this. This is serious.
And like it was a discussion at their dinner table. Like he says, "Can I have the milk?" And his older brother goes, "You like milk with pizza?" And the whole table stops to like
and does
look
nothing.
at him like, oh, what's he gonna say? And he's like,
freezes.
And he's like, yeah. And then the mom's like, "I like milk with pizza." And then then it's like, yeah.
See, this is odd to me because I never even thought of this as really being a thing. Like, if someone had a glass of milk with pizza, I'd be like, okay, but I would never think of like this is like you said, like I like this pairing a lot.
Right.
And then the fact that there's already been discussions about this kind of blows my mind a little bit.
That was another thing where I was like, I think we're kind of the first people talking about this, and then you come up and it's like, oh no, this is a thing.
Yeah, it's been done before, I guess.
It's hard to find things that have not been done before.
Yeah.
But we'll just do it to death.
We'll keep it going.
We'll just beat it. We'll just beat that into submission. Okay. That was my number one thing I wanted to get out there.
I'm glad we have that follow-up here.
Yes. And I mentioned the Dr. Seuss thing, another thing that were not original. I was just really having the revelation of like, it is really hard to be like Western Northeast South Dakota. Granted, he didn't do Western Northeast South Dakota,
but it's like,
he
who
almost
else
did.
would do that whole thing? That doesn't make any sense, right?
Right. It's like Dr. Seuss did it in 1950.
Yeah. Other than like someone actually being serious about maybe saying they were from here, but ever like making it into a thing at all.
Right.
Like he's clearly doing it as kind of a funny-ish thing, I would assume.
Yeah.
As a fun thing. Is Dr. Seuss supposed to be writing fun books, right?
And also, that's one of the books that they're like
got canceled.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say canceled.
Yeah, you shouldn't say canceled.
That's not.
even.
It didn't get canceled.
Yeah.
They decided to not publish it.
Yeah. Right.
His
right.
estate decided to quit selling it, which is
and I
totally
think
fine. They can do that.
They didn't even make the decision forever necessarily. I think they said for like
They're just not going to print it for a while.
Right. Which the only part I dislike about that is it's the one that has the
The Western, which hey, lets us corner that market a little more.
True.
Right?
That's probably good in our favor.
Yeah.
Let's see which thing I could touch on next. Okay, Massenomics. A little Massenomics follow up when we had episode 260, the big 5 year. We talked about the episode statistics, and you said you were too lazy. You weren't going to put them all into a spreadsheet and figure out how many
Total hours of audio that's been
average
published.
hours.
Yeah, all that.
So Big Luke was nice enough to do that for us, and Big Luke came back to me with some numbers. And
I really hope that he found some somewhat automated way and he didn't have to copy paste all of the numbers into a
He
spreadsheet.
said, yeah, I was bored at work today, and I was curious after the question from episode 260 was posed of how many hours of the podcast there has been. So this is, I believe, up through current. This is content through episode 261. So everything excluding this one we're recording right here. Massenomics stat of the week is what he called it. There has been 300 hours, 4 minutes, and 28 seconds of Massenomics podcast content through episode 261. The average episode length, that puts it at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 59 seconds.
See, that's funny because every episode is at least that long.
Yeah, median episode length. So that's average. Median is 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 57 seconds. Almost identical, 1 minute.
Very
so
similar.
What is it, mean, median, and mode?
Yeah.
What is mode? Is
I
that where you
forgot
just
mode.
pick the one that's literally in the middle? Like, I think mode is, say there's the example would be
If there's
say there's 260. Mode is the very middle length one of all 260.
I don't.
So you have 260 of them. Say the
Tanner,
shortest
explain it
is,
to me like I'm in second grade.
I don't know how to explain things. What's the Einstein quote? You know, like explain
Yeah,
things simply, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say there's 10 of them.
Yep.
The shortest episode is 15 minutes. The longest episode is
An hour.
And then there's all these different lengths in between.
Yep.
The mode is actually the one that is the most middle length. So it'd be episode 1, 2, 3. That's, I guess it needs an odd number to really be in the middle. So we say 11.
Well, but if we
it'd
did
be the sixth length, and whatever that comes up to be. Like whatever one is the sixth longest.
Okay.
That's the mode.
Okay.
Whatever one.
Such
actually,
a weird way.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some application in life where mode maybe matters, but
I'm not positive if that's mode, but I think I don't know. I don't even freaking
the whole
know.
thing is
Yeah.
like, do you ever like
Do you
when you see
use that?
statistics,
Yeah.
you see average, and you even see median used a fair amount.
Yes.
You never see mode used on
And
anything.
a thing that gets used a lot, like that I end up using professionally, is like an Olympic average, where you say knock out you're going to average something, but you first knock out the best and you knock out the worst. Like what they do in a figure skating, they're like, yeah, this guy always gives tens.
Is that what they actually do?
I don't know if that's what they do in the Olympics,
That's
but
actually
that's
the term,
the Olympic average. Yeah.
Okay, so
We-
if
that
you
gets
said
used-
that, people would know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we utilize that in like crop insurance and stuff like that all the time, like
Okay.
Olympic averaging.
Just to get the outliers out
right,
of the group.
right, exactly, which makes quite a bit of sense to me for certain applications, I suppose.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's Olympic average because
In
maybe
judging,
they did
Olympic
or
judging,
did that in the Olympics, but the idea to me, it's like, what's the joke? Like the Russian judges, like the Russian judges always grade really hard or something like that. So if they're always the lowest one, you're knocking them out of the grading every time. Or it's like maybe the American judges, they always give like
everyone's a 10.
right,
Everyone,
right.
yeah.
So like they just get knocked out of the scoring.
Wow, I'm learning a lot in this episode here, Tanner.
Yes. So what was that topic actually? Oh, that was the statistics.
yeah.
How did those over 300 hours though? I think that's the interesting note there.
Yeah, and it is that number. So the average being an hour 8, I would say our average for the last year has probably been closer to an hour and a half, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those early ones are really bringing
Those
that average
really
down for sure.
Especially like those first few where we did it 20 minutes.
True, yeah.
But we have such a large number of episodes now that just one episode is not all that significant in the total.
It's not even a percent.
No, right, right. Huh. Do we have? Are we doing a can segment too?
Oh, you know
I'm
what?
just
We
asking
should. We
because I'm
should do.
thirsty.
I'm actually thirsty too. I just was waiting for you to drop more knowledge bombs.
I do
on
have
me,
another,
Tanner, so
another really good
let's
thing.
do
here.
it. Let's do a what's in the can here, though. Let's do a what's in the can.
Great. Oh, this is what I need to not look.
You need to not look.
Okay.
Tanner, would you feel better if we did it like this? If we went, what's in the can? A little trip down memory lane.
I do like this better. I do like this better.
Yeah. All right, let's crack into this.
Okay. Everyone seems excited for it.
They do. People wanted it.
This is a what's in the can, so I didn't look.
Crisp, refreshing.
Tastes good. My initial thought is feels a little pamplemoosey to me.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, and by
good.
pamplemousse, I'm going, grapefruit. It tastes like a squirt to me.
Yep.
A squirt, which I
Not a cola of any kind.
Nope.
No cola notes.
I'm just gonna say pamplemousse. I guess it tastes like pamplemousse to me.
And
What is it?
ruby red grapefruit, which is basically
I think that's
pamplemousse.
yeah.
Again, in the polar
Okay.
line here, Tanner.
Also, this is more flavorful than a pamplemousse.
It's good though, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Polar is good.
Polar is really good. Also, I don't know. To me, this looks like a store brand.
Oh, it
packaging.
looks so much more budget. It
right,
does.
like
It
this looks-
absolutely does.
Could you design stuff? Could
Yeah.
you design something that looks more budget?
I'll
than
tell
this?
you. I'll tell you right now.
And why does this look
I
budget?
stayed away from it for so long because it looks so budget.
Why does this look so budget?
I think it's the mixture of. So they have literal bubbles all over the can. They have an actual polar bear. They have kind of a real drawing of fruit. There's like silver on the can, like there's actual aluminum of the can showing through. The colors are kind of faded, like it's not a real pink. It's kind of like I think it's just all those things together just make it look kind of cheap.
This screams like great value.
Oh yeah,
for
it does.
you know?
It does. Yeah, it's all.
But
just,
I think we found
I think their flavor's
they're
good.
very good,
yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, like Bubbly has a more modern look. LaCroix just has such a look of its own that it just
True.
It's in a whole different spot.
Yeah.
Where this just looks more like kind of generic.
Sometimes there's just too much shit going on too.
Yeah, they do got a lot going
Like
on.
you look at Bubbly, it's really, you said modern, it's also very like simplistic.
Yeah, and that's what.
Yeah,
I would
right,
say
right.
the modern, clean, simple.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's what they got going on.
And I agree with what you said about LaCroix. It is like it's just
It's like the spectrum that goes from left to right, but then they're like way up. They're like it's like I didn't know you could go that direction.
Right.
Like, that's
yeah,
where they're
that's a
at.
good point. Yeah, I give this. Let me try one more time.
I'm going
between
a 4.
the 3.5 and a 4.
I'm going
yeah.
a 4 for sure. A good grapefruit is just hard to beat.
Yeah, I had to have the one more sip, and I agree. It is a 4.
It's good stuff.
Absolutely a 4.
4 JD Powers.
Yes. What? I better have one more sip. Okay. Can you cue that music again? Because just wait. Let me do a small intro to this.
Okay.
Then we can cue the music. Tommy, we're bringing back a segment that we have not done in a long time. So now you can cue the music.
Well, cue it or play it.
Well, I don't know. What the difference-
I don't know if there's an actual difference there. If cue means get it ready,
right.
is cue get it
It's
ready?
just kinda cued
Is this
all the
like
time.
is this like go on 3 or
Right.
3 and then go?
That's a good.
So cue or cue and then
what
go.
does cue the music mean?
I think cue means like
would
get
mean-
it. I think it means like
right.
get it lined
Okay,
up.
Yeah. So
So hit it.
yeah, hit it.
Okay.
Yeah, hit it. Yeah. Tommy, are you ready for open powerlifting stat of the week?
No way. Is this? Am I really
This
on
is our
Open
friends
Powerlifting
over
Stat of
at
the Week?
Open Powerlifting have provided us with a new stat of the week.
Did they actually provide us with a stat?
They provided
Really?
our friends over at Open
Wow.
Powerlifting have come back.
I'm really excited right now.
Yes.
I noticed they were slightly more active this week on Instagram. And when I say slightly more active, I think I saw some stories from them.
Would you like to know why there's been a couple year hiatus of Open Powerlifting? They provided a reason for that.
Yeah, I would like to know the reason.
Said if anyone asks why the stat has been missing for like 2 years, just tell them we have been working on calculating this one.
Oh, it's
the
a
whole
2 year.
time.
They had to crunch the numbers. What was going on there?
crunch. Can you crunch those numbers again? Crunch.
They were, building the database.
So, very interesting stat of the week.
All right.
Today we are looking at number of individuals in the database that are named either Tanner or Tommy for all of powerlifting history. And actually what we've got here is we got it broken down by Tommy, Tanner, Thomas.
That was going to be my next question, is because there's going to be a lot of Thomases and Toms.
And then we also have DeFay and Baird.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So what's questions first? There's a lot of questions here. But what's the first stat we're looking at? Do I get to guess on all these?
Yeah, we can guess them all of them. What would I would ask you first? What do you think of these shows up the least in open powerlifting? Tommy, Tanner, Thomas, DeFay, or Baird?
Oh, DeFay for sure.
It is DeFay for sure,
without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay, so we want to look at how many Tommies are there in the open powerlifting database.
Okay, there's got to be a couple hundred, but is there more than 1,000? I think they have see, I don't know how many people they have either.
I mean, it's gotten big.
That's the other problem. I thought
those people over at open powerlifting have not been screwing
I'm trying to
around.
remember, was it 2.5? Like they have 2.5 million entries, I think. I don't think it's 2.5 million people. That seems like way too many. I think it's 2.5 million entries. And I could be 100% wrong with that number too, but
Could be 1 million. Could be
I could just
10.
have it all.
Could be 250,000.
We've recorded 2.5 million attempts. I don't know.
Right.
Well, we'll say there's probably 500 Tommies.
That's a very good guess. I like where you were going on that. I mean, I consider that a win for just blindly guessing
It's
a number.
between 1 and 2.5 million,
right? There is 382 Tommies.
Okay.
So that's
not
very
terrible.
Good. No, that's very good.
At first I was thinking 1,000, and that seemed like way too big of a number.
Yes.
But 200 seemed too low. I got to 500.
So there's 382 Tommies. Do you think there's more or less Tanners than there is Tommies?
Oh.
Also, I've been seeing Tanner in almost like the middle class fancy meme. On occasion, I'm like, hey, I'm not Kyle. And on occasion, have you seen those before? Where it's
a couple, yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
Leave me out of this.
don't yeah, it was funny when it was Karen and Kyle and Chad. And
This one hits too close to home.
Right.
Okay.
More or less Tanners than Tommies.
I think I got to say less. I think less.
There is more.
Really?
394.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Almost identical.
Yeah, it was 12 different?
Yeah.
12 different. Damn,
12 different.
That's surprising how close that is, though.
It's funny. And I account for one of the Tanners. What do you account for?
I guess, you know what? I'm going to give myself an excuse here. In my head, I'm like, I think there's way more people with the name Thomas than Tanner. But Thomas, the question was Tommy's.
Right.
So once we consider Thomases and Toms, because I bet that there's
how many Thomases?
I bet there's way more. I bet there's way more Toms than any of them. If I
and we didn't do Tom.
Ooh, you know what though? But I think my name's in there under Thomas.
It might be. Yeah.
Because a lot of people might register as Thomas with their real name, but I would guess Tommy would be the least popular out of all of them.
Yes.
I would think probably Thomas number 1, Tom, then Tommy. I think
that makes sense. Yep. So what do you think the number of Tommy or Thomases?
500 again.
Thomas is 7,454.
No, really?
A lot of Thomases. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
7,000?
Yeah, 7,000, almost 7,500.
Oh,
For Thomas.
yeah. That's crazy.
Okay, so then we'll go Baird. I won't make you guess this one. It's 151. Not very many.
No.
Not surprising. I don't run into a whole lot of people that have my same last name or even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Do people know how to pronounce your name?
No.
Like after you know someone and their name long enough, I lose track of whether is that hard to pronounce? I don't know because I just look at it and know what it is, So DeFay though, how many of those individuals do you think there are in the database?
2?
There is 8.
8, really?
We know two of them
Yeah.
are you and your brother. It's the other mystery 6.
Yeah.
So it's like, who are those
Who the
guys
hell
that
are
are
these people?
powerlifting?
Yeah. Oh. I guess I better look into this. Figure out who these people are. Figure out who these imposters are. Won't take many clicks to get to the bottom of that one, will it?
I wonder where you rank in all de phase.
God, if I'm getting beat out, I gotta reevaluate my life strategy. Gotta reset my goals here.
So I wonder where you rank in all de phase and where I rank in all Bairds, and I would imagine I guess I don't know. Like it could be middle or mid high.
Yeah.
You only have 8 to go against, so you could
Ryan
be number
right
1.
now, my younger brother's probably stronger than me right now.
What is his highest reported
I'm saying
total,
he's probably that's what I'm saying. He's probably
Yeah.
all time stronger than I ever was at my all time, but he doesn't have a bigger total in the meet.
Yeah,
so.
he's never totaled more than what you have.
No.
Okay, yeah. He'll always forever be chasing Big Brother. Okay, so that was our open powerlifting set of the week.
Wow, that was impressive.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, open powerlifting.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good stuff, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I had any other hot notes before we
Any more hot takes?
get into that return
Yeah, was
segment.
there- was there
That's what I
anything
wanted
else
to
in
talk about. I do have a couple podcast reviews I wanted to read today, but no, I don't know what we need to talk
I do
about.
too.
Yeah,
I'm surprised it took this long.
Right.
New Massenomics stuff.
yeah, that's right. That's the
And that's
elephant
it.
in the room.
Yeah, that's
There-
it.
that- good.
It's
we
new.
did it.
There's
yeah.
new stuff.
There's new stuff.
No, we had I'm actually shocked we didn't start with this. Now that
Yeah,
we're always kind of bad at that though.
Should we start over?
Yeah, screw it. We're only
We can
26
redo
and a
this
half
26 minutes.
in.
We'll
Yeah,
just
it's nothing.
Re-say the same stuff all over again.
Yeah, so we had new stuff come out. We had the Dark Side tee, which is shooting out to be an early favorite in the release. We never know with these new wacky ideas how they're going to go.
That is one in particular that you and we had the exact conversation just before releasing. And this could either be the worst one of the release or the best one of the release.
And it wouldn't surprise me either way. And it's
turning out very
coming
good.
out to be an early favorite.
And we did kind of had maybe said we're not reordering that one. So if you do want one of those,
Man, we'll have to see how it goes.
Right.
So yeah, the Dark Side tee. We had the I don't want to say the white ones. What's the other one that's not white? Why can't I think of it?
the Crispy Boys 2.0.
Crispy Boys 2.0. God, that one keeps slipping my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Crispy Boys 2.0. We made the artwork so long ago on that was one that we had the artwork sitting around waiting. So Crispy Boys 2.0, the return of the Crispy Boy.
The Crispy Boy Summer's coming back.
Crispy
this
Boy
year.
Summer is on. It's back on, people. The
This
shirt
time,
is an official
The
symbol of it.
long neck bottles this time.
Long necks, 5 long necks to get you through those hot summer days, and 5 different Massenomics logos on each beer bottle.
The classic Massenomics 5-pack, always 5, never 6.
Mm-hmm. It gives you a nice one for the median, then Tanner.
And the mode.
A clear median and a clear mode.
Yeah.
Average, I don't know if that works out so well. But
Nothing Massenomics does is average.
No, not at all.
What's on the 5 bottles this time? We have the 8-bit powerlifting.
Yep, we have Jefferson Deadlift, Don't Curl in Me, Lift Hard, Live Easy, and the Heavy Lager logos all on the bottles.
I like it.
I do too.
I think it was a really fun way of bringing back the Crispy Boys, but also changing it up.
Bringing
pretty
back the
significantly.
original Crispy Boys, rest in peace.
Yeah, rip. Yeah, never to return again.
Never to,
unfortunately.
yeah. It is illegal. Shirt is illegal. So you have
got one of those, you
keep
hang
it on
on
the
to it.
down low.
Okay, and let me clear this up here. Everyone always wants to know this. Do we have any of those around in secret that you can buy? And what everyone wants to know is the Yeah Buddy shirt. Do we have any of those secretly hiding around that you can buy? We do not.
No.
If we did, I guess I would. That's
illegal contraband.
Yeah,
They have to go away.
but I would lie right now if we did have them. But we really do not have
Yeah.
them, and you cannot buy them from
those
us.
are gone.
And those will not be coming back.
Yeah, those are wrapped up for quite a
We
while.
took those up back and shot them.
We did. Quick and painless. And so we had those two. And then we also have the white bench heavy tee and the white lift tee.
Yeah,
Just
both
clean, classy tees for summertime.
Now white is clean. It doesn't pop, right?
You could say the imprints pop. I wouldn't say these imprints pop in
I'd say
their
they're-
traditional sense.
No,
I'd say they're clean.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the technical.
That if you're gonna really define what it is here, yeah, and use the words correctly.
And then the bonus item. It's not a hat.
Oh yeah.
It's not a hat. The best part about the bonus item is it's not a hat. It's a headband.
Yeah, it's a different type of head apparel item.
Yeah, and this is an allowable purchase. You can.
We both should
purchase
have worn them
headbands
for
from-
this episode, Tanner.
We
so people
probably
knew
should
what was
have.
going on.
We could have even like worn one of the new shirts. But
Yeah, we could have done that too, but
instead,
here we are in the old reliables. Jefferson deadlift and OG.
though, it's a good shirt.
It is. Great shirt.
Buy-
OG's a good shirt
Yes.
too.
Buy a Jefferson deadlift shirt. Mix it in with your when you're ordering these new tees that we've got available. I don't think we're going to order more of the white tees though.
No, those will go away.
Yeah, those will go away,
It's a
right?
summertime thing. You
Yeah,
don't order white t-shirts in the wintertime.
Right. That's you'd blend in with the snow.
Yeah, no one
like
would
no one would
see
be
you.
able to find you.
Yeah, and we know living in the Dakotas how bad of a problem that is.
Sometimes you walk home from the bar late at night drunk, and
Yep.
here's a pro tip: you don't bring
You
your
buy
coat
the
to
hot
the bar.
dogs and put them in your sleeves with you to keep you warm.
No, you leave your coat at home.
yeah.
Because
You can't
you
bring
do
your coat to
not.
the-
Do
yeah.
you want to babysit a coat out at the bar?
This is the thing with the weather is when it's negative 20 outside,
You don't take a coat.
well, you don't because the bars are still heated to like 80 degrees. And then when people get in and start dancing and sweating, the
Oh.
humidity is like 90%. It's
Yeah.
another 80 degrees. It's,
so what you do, you shove your coat over in this corner, like on the ground,
or
essentially.
there's a spot behind a video lottery machine where you can hide it too. Like
you
that's-
hope.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the end of the night, you really hope that it's still there,
Yeah.
especially if it's a nice coat. Like
Yeah.
the smarter move, if you insist on babysitting a coat, you bring your oldest,
Yeah, just the
junkiest
shittiest
coat,
one.
because there's like a 50% chance that
Yeah.
you're not walking.
Or like back in the day when you could still smoke in the bars in South
Oh,
Dakota.
you didn't- then it's
and
gonna smell like it,
all
yeah.
the coats would be in the corner, and someone could just flick a cig, in that corner, and the amount of just damage that they would do in a second to the coat pile.
Yeah. Yep. That's one of our local watering holes. I literally still picture you would just go dig rifle through coats on the
It's
ground.
kind of like
there was
kinda-
no coat hook over there.
No.
Even they were just all laying on the
No
ground.
coat hook, no
Why
coat
wasn't
check,
there a
no
coat
nothing.
rack over there?
I guess because it would be like a daycare then. Like it would just be the biggest coat rack. but-
Nobody wants to babysit the coats.
No one wants to acknowledge that staying warm enough to live in the wintertime is
So
a thing.
what you do is you don't bring. The best thing to do is not bring a coat, and then at the end of the night when it's like 2 a.m. and you never planned out how you were going to get home at that point.
Because let's be honest, that part doesn't matter.
So you're either like walking home, which could be literal miles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or you're like two things. You're either walking home or you're just standing out there, just hoping like a ride is going.
Yeah,
Like you're going
or
to.
if
figure
it's
out
really
this-
cold, you can go stand in the smoke shack where everyone's smoking, but at least it's not in the wind, so everyone's
Yeah.
blowing their cigarette smoke on you.
Yeah.
But it's at least like
The
20-degree
plus is-
cigarette smoke instead of negative.
The
20.
cigarette smoke is just going to kill you really slowly over a long period of time. The cold will just almost kill you that night.
Yeah, the cigarette smoke plays the long game, whereas the cold is the quick death.
Yes. So that's the tip.
Yeah, weather tips.
So, but what I was getting at, if you wear your white tee in the winter, you could end up face down in a snowbank. People
could.
wouldn't find you until the next day.
You would not be found.
That's why.
they
that's why the white
there's
tees
a good
come out
chance they
in the
wouldn't
summer.
even find you the next day.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
They could just pile more snow on by that time. It
That's
might
the
be
thing.
until spring.
You would just get blown
Yeah,
over there.
right.
Yeah, you'd be gone. Ooh, okay. Now that we got that survival tip out of
Yeah,
the way, should we
read
some of these guys?
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is brought to you by The Strength Co. The Strength Co. operates starting strength affiliate gyms out of Southern California. They have a staff of experienced starting strength coaches that know the best way to develop strength through the barbell movements. Grant, the owner of The Strength Co., is a Marine, and he is passionate about obtaining American products and labor for all aspects of his business. The Strength Co. makes premium, made in America, barbell equipment, including their machined and E-coated plates. These plates have functional, easy to handle, accurate, and are made to last a lifetime. The Strength Co plates have become the go-to choice for all members at Massenomics Gym. Check out their plates and all their other made-in-America equipment online at thestrengthco.com. That's thestrengthco.com. This episode is also brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. If you've been training without a coach and have been looking for a competitive edge, remember to check out hybridperformancemethod.com. Hybrid has 15 different strength and fitness programs covering everything from powerlifting and strongman to gymnastics and general fitness, all included in one training membership. That's not all. Hybrid also offers one-on-one personalized nutrition coaching that uses lifestyle habits and a flexible approach to shape your nutrition plan around your current lifestyle instead of turning your lifestyle upside down in order to support unsustainable habits that only work in the short run the way most programs do. If you're ready to take your training, nutrition, or both to the next level, use code MASS in all caps, that's MASS, for 5% off membership to all programs for the life of your membership. Today's show is also brought to you by Lifting Large. Since 2004, Lifting Large has been providing lifters across the world with powerlifting gear from Titan Support Systems. Lifting Large has the largest in-stock supply on Titan wrist and knee wraps in the world. Home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, they are always in stock and always ready to ship, and they also have ER Competition combo racks in stock and ready to ship too. They are the only powerlifting supplier with live chat support available during the weekdays, and you can get email replies to your questions in hours, not days, like some of the other guys. They are now accepting Amazon Pay and Stripe for a quick and simple checkout, and once your order is checked out, you can it will ship fast with same-day shipping on most orders. Massenomics customers can use code MASS20, that's MASS20, to get 20% off Lifting Large branded products and also receive an additional 50 rewards points added to your Lifting Large account. Place your orders at liftinglarge.com, and you can follow them on Instagram at liftinglarge.com. That's at liftinglarge, DOTCOM. And last but not least, the Massenomics podcast is brought to you by SPUD Inc. and the Cable Handles. Built to be bomb-proof, the SPUD Inc. cable handles feature a 6-inch long steel handle with a textured rubber coating and come with large spring clips for attaching to cable machines, bands, chains, and even suspension straps. Strong enough to take whatever you throw at them and flexible enough to be used for dozens of different exercises, the deluxe cable handles might be the only handles you will ever need. Check out the cable handles online at spud-inc-straps.com. Thank you to our sponsors. Tanner, I just thought of something when I was reading those ads. Massenomics has a new goal. It hit me reading those ads. The new goal for Massenomics is to be around long enough that we can have our own Texas Power Bar style ad someday. In 2014.
And people are like, 2014, those old bastards.
Why are they taking me back so far? It all does come through to the modern day.
Not only will we take them back, we are like a 3D story. We're going to take them back. We're also going to take them up to 10,000 feet.
To the top.
Yeah. You're going to say exactly.
Well, and we're going to back it up a little. We're going to say in 1976, the YMCA started spreading across America. In 2002, Aberdeen, South Dakota remodeled their YMCA. Yeah. It was then later that Tanner and Tommy decided in 2014, after subpar conditions, that they wanted to open up a different gym that was different than and that would be how the ad would start.
Of the story, because it actually has to start prior to.
Yeah, you have to give. You got to act
the backstory.
You got to have some build up here. People got to know what they're getting into.
Yeah, and that all looks good from 10,000 feet.
So that's only that almost brought us up to modern day, and that's only like 3 sentences. So if we want to get to Texas Power Bar levels, we got to have this story go for a couple more decades still.
Right.
But something to aspire to, right?
I think so. I mean, that's the goal. It's always been the goal.
Texas Power Bar is not a bad company to model yourself after.
Okay, now we're going to call our guest for this week's episode, which is Rob Kearney, World's Strongest Gay. Let's get him on the horn here. Hopefully.
Yellow.
Hey, Rob. We're excited to have you on the Massenomics podcast. This is Tanner.
Oh, what's going on, man?
And Tommy to my left here.
What's up, Rob?
No, not too much, guys. Got home from work not too long ago, so just kind of doing the after work bullshit.
Story of our life, after work bullshit. No, we're super pumped to get you on the podcast here, and I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time just giving your background for the sake of background. I think most of the people listening to our show are going to know who you are, but for anyone that doesn't, you're a professional strongman. I don't know, been competing several years, and you compete now at the very highest level, competing at World's Strongest Man and all the biggest shows. And we're excited to talk to you about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I've been fortunate enough to go from a young, chubby, unathletic kid to an older, chubby, kind of athletic adult. So,
Transformation Tuesday. The first thing I was wondering, are you competing in World's Strongest Man 2021 this year?
So I was given an alternate spot. So I was not invited as one of the 25 competitors, but I was given an alternate spot, pretty much because of my injury. So I will be there, and I hope that somebody cannot compete. And hopefully it's not because of an injury, but something else. But the only way I'll be competing is if somebody is unable to compete before the show starts.
How do you? I think there's a lot of gray area in the selection process for World's Strongest Man, but how do you feel about not being one of the top? Like, to me, I get that you had the injury component and you're coming back from that now, but in my mind, I would say you're easily in the top 25 strongest men in the world. So I don't know why you wouldn't be in the, one of the first 25 selected.
Yeah. Same.
That's okay. Good. Yes.
So it's not just
that's crazy then. Okay.
No, I was essentially told by the powers that be that they don't think that I would be 100% by the time Worlds comes around. So I was essentially told that I wasn't going to be ready to compete.
Don't you know better than them?
One would think, considering I have a master's degree in athletic rehab, but fuck me for that, right?
Yes.
So I was pretty frustrated and annoyed for that to happen. I'm going back to the Arnold this year. I was invited to the Rogue Invitational, which only have 10 athletes apiece, but I guess I'm not quite up to the standard of the 25 that they're looking for Worlds.
It's a tough crowd.
I'm not bitter. It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know I don't know that I've seen like the full list of 25, and odds are, like, I think if history repeats itself, there's always a list of people that end up not being able to go for whatever reasons, injuries or something else. So I would assume there's probably a pretty decent chance that you would get the opportunity to do it still. Is that right? Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah, so I competed at Worlds so far in 2017, 18, and 19, and every year that I've been there, at least one alternate has been used. So I'm pretty confident I will end up throwing down and competing, which is, it's exciting for me, to get a spot as an alternate and not an actual spot in the contest, and to be training like I am competing without knowing. There's some extra fire every training session just to prove everybody wrong is a nice little fuck you when I get a little fucked up to compete.
Yeah, fuck these guys. Yeah. Let's see if I'm not in the top 25.
Oh, yeah. To show up and have a great performance. It's like, what was the debate here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when it's down the road, like you could drive there.
Yeah, it's literally, I think I looked at flights. It's a 47-minute flight from where I'm at.
Yeah. That seems nicer than, I guess I suppose it's been in Florida the last couple, which haven't been that far, but driving halfway across the world, or flying halfway across the world.
Yeah, Bahrain was a little tough a few weeks ago, but I was able to still make it happen, so I can't really complain too much.
Yep. So do you think, like, you're probably not the only person annoyed by the only person that's been snubbed in that way before? When I look at the names, like, is it a little bit of sometimes it seems like they have a tendency to pick people that have just been there for a long number of years. Like, it's like, yeah, you've done this 10 times. You're coming back for an 11th.
Make it the 11th. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. With World's Strongest Man, they obviously have the Giants Live qualifying tour, which caters heavily to European athletes, as there's only one U.S. like North American show for Giants Live and World's Strongest Man qualifiers. And then apart from those, it's pretty much based on invite, and that's how you get your way in. So I think they do have a quote unquote qualification process to get to Worlds. But that's only for probably a third of the athletes that compete. The rest are just kind of handpicked based on previous performances throughout the year at other competitions through other promoters, and other factors as well.
Right. So what was your injury that you're coming back from too? I wanted to double check that and see how that's going. Are you kind of hinted towards it that you're probably on the right track, but how's it all going?
Yeah. So back in October, I was taking part in the Feats of Strength season 2 that's put on by World's Ultimate Strongman. I did season 1 in June of last year and was able to break my American log press record. I hit 476 pounds. About 216 kilos, and then in October was invited back to go for the log press world record. So on one of my attempts to re-break my American record, I decided to do this fun thing and rupture my tricep, and it's been a total bitch. It really was. It's a really bad injury. Obviously tearing something is never good. But got the MRI and everything. And the first thing I heard from the surgeon when I woke up was, it was way worse than I expected. And he actually had to rethink his entire surgical approach of how he was going to fix it because of how bad the tear was. Oof. So, it's definitely still a work in progress. I'm fortunate with my background, my master's degree, with what I do for work, working in a sports rehab setting. I'm surrounded by a lot of great people that are helping me out. And it's, I'm getting back there. I would say every other lift except my overhead, and my upper body lifts are pretty much back to pre-injury, lifts. And, but that being said, I'm getting up there in the pressing, I'm back in the mid 300s on overhead, and bench and stuff like that. So it's coming up for sure. It's not at the level that I was before I got injured, but kind of to the point that we were talking about before with World's Strongest Man, there's typically not a max overhead lift.
Right.
There has been a few years, and that was another sticking point for me because I'm pretty much in the mix when it comes to overhead where the weight would be for reps. But that's for I guess I could go on bitching about that for a while.
So is that Strongman is a sport that is known for you can have some tough injuries in there, and it is a sport that beats people up. Is that tricep injury, is that the worst one you've ever had?
This is one of the first I've ever had.
Really?
So I've been pretty fortunate. I had a little injury back in at Giants Live North America 2018. Did this cute thing where an Atlas stone fell on my chest. I broke a few ribs, but it was nothing, too major. Take a month off of training heavy and just work back into it, and I was okay. This is the first time I've needed surgery because of an injury in this sport, though. And, I did one hell of a number. I tell everybody, at this point in my recovery, I would have rather ruptured both biceps at the exact same time than deal with this injury again.
Oh, really? Oof.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. That does. If you put it in that context, it probably
none of that
really
sounds pleasant at all.
Yeah. So I think it's through Iron Resurgence or through Anthony Furman and some of those people that they're hosting something. Are they going? I don't know that it's called like a log press world championship, but are they not all getting together to try to break the log press record? I mean, would it be your record that they're trying to break?
Yeah. So at the end of this month, Anthony Furman and the Strength League Collective, they're putting on the Clash on the Coast. And part of that is going to be a record breaker series on the Sunday of that weekend. So there's about, I want to say there's like 10 to 12 guys coming out that are gunning for my American log press record. Like I said before, it's set at 476 right now. So I think guys are going to be attempting that 478 to 480 range.
How do you feel about the group, and are you What
do you think the odds are of your record staying?
Right. And also, what do you just are you going to be kind of pissed if they break it, or how do you take that personally?
No, man, I'm not over. So I'm going to be happy if it gets broken. So I'm going to be judging the lift.
Okay.
And I
Well,
told
that's
all
easy.
those
You just have to say no. Every lift is bad. Then
Yeah.
you're
well,
set.
I told all the fuckers, I was like, you know what? Like, I had to do this shit on a Zoom call with the Drewness in fucking Lithuania, and I had a 7-second lag. You bet your ass you're going to be holding that shit for a while.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple of guys that are going to be close. Bobby Thompson comes to mind. He's hitting some pretty great numbers right now. Jose Baez, he's up there as well. Overhead is it's one of those things that is just so hard to gauge based off of training numbers. And, you guys know, to put 5-10 pounds on an overhead lift is a big deal, especially at this level. So I think there are a couple of guys that are going to give it a shot. I would say I'm probably about 70-30 that I'm going to keep my record.
Yeah.
But that being said, if one of those guys breaks it, I'm going to be the first one to shake their hand and congratulate them. Because at the end of the day, records are meant to be broken. Yep. I've had the record for 2 years. I've been fortunate enough to have that. I still currently have the 231 log press world record. And, it's really cool to have your name in the record books at the end of the day. But, for me, it just gives me something else to fight back for after coming after this injury. And, I think my main focus now in the sport is to focus a little bit more on trophies than records.
Right on.
I think that's a cool perspective to have. And as fans of the sport, the log record is one of those ones it's just weird in the way that it always seems like there's like 3 or 4 guys gunning for some either the American record or the all-time world record.
Always.
And it just can't ever quite happen. It's like one of those, it's just a really hard record to fall for some reason.
Yeah. It's a super technical lift. The clean has to be great. The press has to be great. Everything has to fall into line, and not to mention nothing we do is standardized. Right. So the log is going to be, the log that they're using at the show, nobody's ever picked up. So that plays a big role into it. And so there's just a lot of variables, and it all comes down on to who can perform the day of the show. And, if one of those guys is strong enough and feeling good, he can break my record. Like I said, I'll be super happy for them. I'll shake their hand, give them the congrats that they deserve. And then, put a target on their ass to break it again.
Yeah. Something I was wondering about, because this is a kind of a ironic thing. I've just kind of hadn't remembered this until now, but one of the guys competing there just happened to stop by our gym. We're from Northeast South Dakota, and he is not far from us. He came and attempted I think he did like a 450 pound clean and press that day on one of our logs. And it was a pretty good lift. He got it pretty cleanly, but as the gym owner, what I noticed is how hard a 450 pound log press can be on your equipment. Like, how many logs have you ruined over the years from at the very least, bending the shit out of the outside pegs on the log? Do those get ruined every time you use them?
Pretty frequently. Yeah. So I will say the wooden log that I use for my records and stuff like that is bent to shit.
Yeah.
Surprisingly though, shout out to Pitbull. I've never bent one of their logs, and I've done more presses in the mid 400s and dropped it from overhead. And those things have never bent. It's 90 pounds empty, and you can load it up pretty heavy. And I've never bent one of them, which is pretty fucking impressive.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good testimonial there.
Yeah. Because when the guy that's competing there, he did, I think it was either 440 or 450 overhead, and he had some crash pads out, but not really a great crash pad.
It comes down like 600 when it
and he kind of missed the crash pads anyways and landed direct on concrete. And this was a Titan log that probably, our average guys at the gym had never had more than 300 pounds on it before. And it didn't explode, but it certainly doesn't have the same shape that it used to.
Yeah. I've bent a Titan log or two in my day. And, to be honest, even with crash pads, it probably still would have bent.
Yeah.
Right. The wooden log that I was using, is made by Steve Slater, the best log maker in the world, probably. And even with just using 25-pound calibrated plates on multiple crash pads, they still bent. So it's like at that weight, shit's gonna break.
just physics, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I never did well in that class. So
Yeah. Okay. So something else we obviously wanted to talk with you about is you're well known as the world's strongest gay. That's your handle on Instagram, and that's probably what some of our listeners would recognize you by as your Instagram handle.
How do you terrify so many straight men across the country?
I don't think I terrify them. Usually I just piss them off when I tell them.
Well, there has to be some of that deep down inside, though, right? It has to come from a spot of fear, doesn't it?
Most likely.
Yeah. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask about that is, that's your handle on Instagram. Also, it's just a fact, correct?
Yeah, it totally is.
Okay, it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah. There are some other openly gay strength athletes, but none who have ever competed at World's Strongest Man, the Arnold, or at the level of competition that I currently am.
Right. So it is a fact. We just talked about, how you would feel if someone broke your American log press record. How would you feel if someone gay became stronger than you and was then technically the world's strongest gay? Would that?
I'm not fucking giving up this time.
This one stays.
Like, bitches can come for it, but I'm not giving it up.
So there is a line.
So that's a bridge that's one too far. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what? I would absolutely love if we had an actual contest to find the world's strongest gay. The reason my Instagram handle, and that's how I'm known on social media, is what it is because I want to open up the doors of strength sports to the LGBTQ plus community. And if that meant more bigger, stronger athletes were coming in through the doors, I would be happier than a pig in shit. I mean, it would be absolutely amazing, because that's my biggest goal with having this platform, is showing the world that that strength sports, while it looks intimidating as fuck from the outside looking in, once you get into it, it's generally a pretty loving and accepting place.
Yeah,
I think so. For the most part, people just want to see other people get strong and succeed, don't
right.
they?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's most of what I've gotten. I mean, granted, I like to refer to myself as being unapologetically open about my sexuality. So I put myself out there. And with that comes a lot of ridicule and hatred on a daily basis. But, I have a thick skin, and I use it as motivation every time I step into the gym. But those are mainly from people that don't understand the culture of strongman.
Right.
Like, my best friends are in this sport. I have never once gotten shit from another competitor because I'm gay. If anything, I get shit from other competitors when Joey doesn't come with me to competitions because they're pissed he's not there.
Right.
So if there are other athletes out there, and there are a couple, like I said, there's Chris McNaughton, who's from Northern Ireland. There's another guy in Iceland that are up and coming strength athletes. I would love to get together with everybody and have an actual world's strongest gay competition. I mean, it would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It would have the name is there.
Yeah. And plus you could probably just kick everyone's ass. So.
I mean, you said it, not me. So.
I do think that I am glad you said that, because that was something I wanted to ask. Like, have you ever come across a single other actual competitor that has ever said anything negative? Because my guess was going to be it had to be very rare, if ever, because there's just so much, like, anyone that's competed in strength sports. And
once you've spent any amount of time, like, you understand the amount of work someone has to put in, and like, how could you not respect that?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the welcome that I got. So I came out when I was still a 231 or 105 kilo pro. It was 2014. I had just done America's Strongest Man for the first time, so I wasn't at the pro level that I'm at right now and competing at all these bigger shows. But throughout the years, even after I got my first invite to World's Strongest Man, none of the competitors batted an eye. Most guys were more curious about my life and how I've been accepted in the sport of strongman and how it's changed my trajectory in my career. The coolest moment for me was at World's Strongest Man 2017, the first year I was there in Botswana. I was sitting down to do a meal, and Terry Hollins just pulls a chair up and starts asking me questions about my life because he wanted to know what it was like to be a gay man in this sport, because he had never known an openly gay man in this sport. And for somebody who had been in the sport for years and somebody that I had looked up to and watched on TV as growing up, to have him sitting down next to me at a meal and talking, and being genuinely curious about me, was absolutely amazing. And that's how it's been with most of the guys.
Yeah, that's cool. So, okay, maybe I'm wrong here on this, and I think you would know, but some countries in the world are not exactly what you would call gay friendly, correct?
Oh no.
Yeah. So do you ever worry, because Strongman is also known for going to some weird international places that aren't exactly the most popular tourist destinations. Like, do you ever worry about, or I guess, has that ever came up, or you've gone to a location that isn't exactly, friendly to your lifestyle, or is there ever a fear that that would happen?
Yeah, that's a fun thing that I get to do. Every time I get invited to a show that's in a different country, I get to look up whether I'm legally allowed to be there or not.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. That's crazy.
And so this actually happened my first year to World's Strongest Man in Botswana. At the time, homosexuality was illegal in that country, and for all the other athletes, the invite for Worlds comes via email. It's super exciting. Congratulations, you've been selected. Yada yada yada. My invitation that year came via phone call from the lawyers at IMG and CBS, pretty much saying, we would love to have you at World's Strongest Man this year. However, there is this law that homosexuality is illegal in the country. So if you do not want to participate, we will hold your invite to the next year. And, or if you do choose to come, we will, we'll kind of take liability if anything were to happen. So, it was a long conversation with me and my then, boyfriend, Joey, who's now my husband, and just trying to decide what the best decision would be. So ultimately, we decided that I would go alone, because the way the law was written is you could only be persecuted if you were found doing an unnatural act. And I shit you not 2 weeks before I leave for Botswana, 2 men were thrown in jail for 7 years for holding hands in public.
Oof. Wow.
So it is, it's absolutely insane, and it's scary and crazy. When I got the call to go to Bahrain a couple of weeks ago, the first thing I did was go online and see what the LGBTQ laws were in that country. Fortunately, being gay is not illegal in that country. And since I've been to Botswana, it has become it's not illegal anymore. But it is something that I have to think about every time that I get invited to a show.
Yeah, that is, it's a whole other layer.
Oh yeah, God, I don't know how you would even concentrate during that. Like, to me, that just seems like you'd have a target on your back. Are they going to try and make an example out of me? Like, I don't think I would be able to focus. Like, so props to you, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like you said, it definitely adds another layer of stress and anxiety, because it's not like I'm competing at the Super Bowl of Strongman for the first time ever, but now I have to make sure that I'm acting a certain way, so I don't give off any, essentially vibes in any way, so I don't get fucking thrown in jail.
And, maybe prior to that, I suppose it's never come up for World's Strongest Man before, but wouldn't that be a fair reason for World's Strongest Man to not have it there? To be like,
pick a different place.
We're not coming to your country anymore because of this. Like,
yeah, there's definitely been a lot of conversations since then.
Yeah.
I've been pretty adamant that I would not go to a competition in a country like that again. So that's again why there's some other promoters and other venues that are doing shows. So, I have to be a little bit extra cautious and think a little bit more than most of the other guys do.
Yeah. Yeah, some of that is just insane.
Yeah. Yep, whole nother level that you forget exists.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you kind of a general question. It's a more general question, but I want to funnel it down with a more specific example. So are you a fan of The Office at all?
I'm not.
Okay, are you aware of you're aware of The Office?
Oh yeah, I know of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say you're not a fan, like you just don't watch it, or you actually don't like it?
I've never even seen it.
Okay.
That shoots my example a little bit. I was banking on you being more aware of The Office, but okay. So what I was, The Office was mostly filmed in like the early 2000s, I think. I don't know if when it started,
Probably 2002 or 3-ish. I would guess.
2003, yeah, something like that. And main character Michael Scott, who's played by who? What's his? Can't think of his name.
Steve Carell. God, I'm glad you could think of it because
Yeah.
I was blanking too.
And I've heard Steve Carell even comment about it since that, like, we couldn't make that show anymore because a lot of the humor they were using, it was. So I'm thinking specifically of gay humor that they had on there. Like, is that stuff to you? How do you look? And here again, I wanted to use a specific example because it's how I can relate to it a little bit better. But that type of humor you can probably picture about what would be on there, or really any sitcom television in like early 2000s, I suppose.
I guess probably even
90s.
like PG-13 comedies from that time.
Like, is that how do you view that stuff personally? Is that offensive to you if you see that now? Is it funny in any way to you? Like, what's your reaction to that type of thing?
I think it's very, it all depends on context, and how the issues are approached. There are plenty of gay jokes that I think are fucking hysterical.
Okay. That's kind of what I wanted to get at in context. Yes.
Yeah. And it all depends on verbiage and how it's brought up. This was actually a conversation that we had at a Strongman show before, and people were asking, because obviously things are said. And if you have yet to figure out, I'm not one to stay quiet. So when things are said that I find offensive, I let people know and I tell them why, and I think it's, me having that stance on things, people have a different respect for it, as opposed to if I were to just kind of let it go under the table unnoticed and just let things happen. Again, because I'm trying to change culture a little bit in this way. But I think there's a time and a place for everything. I think comedy typically comes from a good place, which is why I typically find all that stuff funny.
Yeah. That's
good to know.
It's interesting to hear.
Yeah. Get someone else's perspective.
Right. Okay. So the other thing I was thinking of as we were talking here, probably something that's equally as interesting for how well you do in Strongman is what more so to me is your size. Explain to everyone what your height and weight is.
I'm a tiny bitch compared to these other people.
Well, right.
Well, that's right before this. We were watching, the video you have. You're lifting at Brian Shaw's garage, and it's just like to the untrained person, they'd be like, "There's no way those guys can lift anything the same amount." And I think in that video, do you go up to like a 935 deadlift or something? And it's like, but he looks half the size of that other guy.
And you're competing with him in every event, if not beating him in a fair number of the events, if you were to look at head to head.
Yeah. So right now I'm standing at a huge 5'10", weighing a svelte 280.
Really?
And it consistently puts me as one of, if not the smallest guy on the roster.
Right.
So the 5'10" you can't do a whole lot about. But the 280 is getting to like the low threes. Is that ever a goal, or is 280 your sweet spot?
So I found it's my sweet spot. So, when I went to Worlds for the first year in 2017, my goal was just have fun and figure out what the fuck the competition was like. The next year I went back, I was like, okay, I have this, I need to be bigger. I need to be stronger. So I had this bigger is better mentality, and I bloated up to an ugly 298. And I tell you ugly, I mean, I made Violet from Willy Wonka look slim. My face was just round. I was out of breath, just like taking a shit. It was just horrible. And, it was just really uncomfortable. So I came back down, and I found that this 280, 285 is really a sweet spot for me, where I feel like I can still get stronger. Obviously, on the intro I mentioned I'm still kind of fluffy, so I have some fat to lose. So, body recomp is definitely a big thing that I'm focusing on right now. But yeah, 280, 285 is definitely a sweet spot.
Yeah. I think you are a great example or a great role model for someone that's gay that wants to get into Strongman and that says like, wow, I could be one of the best in the world. That's has no bearing on that. I think you're unrealistic example for anyone that's 5'10", 280 and wants to be like
don't look at that guy.
It's like, yeah, all you people that are that size, you can't do that. Like, that's just like a very rare, like, you're not a good example for that, because it's like almost giving people false hope. Like, yeah, I could be that good too. You know, I could get that strong and be this size.
I think a lot of people see my career now and they just think that I just kind of sprung into the sport, not realizing like I've been doing this shit since 2009 when I was 17 years old, and I was competing under 200 pounds at that time, you know, and then I worked my way up to the 231 class and competed there for about 5 years. And then I worked my way up to the heavyweight. So, you know, I haven't always competed in this division.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you'd been doing it that long either. That's really impressive.
Yeah, it's been a long road. You know, I mean, I went to, I was at amateur nationals at 2011 as a 200 pounder and took second place. Ended up winning the amateur national championship in 2013, which is how I turned pro. And I competed 231 up until 2016. Then 2017 made the jump to heavyweight.
Yeah. So it is a good example, though. It's not a quick path.
No, and that's the thing people have to realize. As a smaller guy, you have to take the long road. You know, you don't have the size genetics that these other guys do, where you can jump in as a heavyweight, win a few shows, then be at World's Strongest Man in a year or two.
Right.
You know, it took me 8 or 9 years to get to World's Strongest Man.
So do you know, let's just say World's Strongest Man roster this year, is there anyone else under 6 foot, under 300 pounds on the roster besides potentially you?
There's nobody else under 6 feet. Kevin Fairs is typically the same body weight as me. So he's typically around that 280, 285 range. But he's a 6'1" or 6'2", I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Outlier.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think about playing overrated, underrated?
I think we should.
All right, Rob. So we've got this game we play with every guest we have. It's overrated, underrated. It's fairly self-explanatory. The important key points to remember with ours that this is specifically Rob topics that we handpicked for you, and you've got your druthers to answer as quickly or as lengthy as you want to, but you have to remember that you do have to land on an overrated or underrated. You cannot ride the line in between.
Deal.
And
you're asking a gay man to be brutally honest. I think that's going to go very well.
Yes. Shouldn't be too hard, maybe. Okay. Overrated or underrated? The Joe Rogan Experience.
Underrated. It was the biggest thing that completely catapulted my career in a different direction. I got more sponsorships and more opportunities from that show. You know, and it really was, it was a huge turning point in my career.
That's really cool. I remember when you popped up, and I don't think I'm unique when I say this, that I go through phases with Joe Rogan where I'll be like really into it for a month, and then there'll be a patch of guests that just don't do anything for me. And you were on when I was in one of those phases where I was really listening a lot. And I remember seeing your name pop on, like, Rob Kearney. Kearney's on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's really awesome. Like, it just felt like it came like out of nowhere.
It was wild, you know. So I hate to say this, so he started following me before I was following him.
Then you have to do that awkward thing where you follow back, and it's like, maybe I'll wait till like 2 a.m. and follow back so he won't notice.
He's got like a million and some. He won't notice me.
Yeah.
He started following me, and actually my husband, after we got married in Australia and Arnold posted about us, Joe started following us. And I literally got on his show simply by sending him a DM.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I literally was like, hey, I'm going to be in LA for this contest. Want to know if I can come on the show? Totally not expecting a response. And like within 5 minutes, he's like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. I was like, well, that was fucking easy.
That's the secret, huh?
Everyone listening right now just DM Joe Rogan.
he's gonna hit me up, be like, what the fuck?
When he did follow you, did you see the notification? Like, did you see that came through?
No, I had no idea.
Okay, yeah. Like you just looked one day and you're like, Joe Rogan does follow me. What the hell?
Well, so it wasn't even like that, which is horrible. Because Arnold posted about my husband and I getting married. So my social media just blew up. So I couldn't find which way was straight.
Right.
No pun intended. But
that's what I was thinking.
So somebody had like, it was a friend of mine that was like, dude, Joe Rogan liked one of your posts. I was like, oh, that's sick. Not thinking anything of it. And then like I clicked on his profile. I was like, oh, he's following me too. That's awkward.
Joe being sneaky.
Yeah. And if you thought you blew up from that, just wait until we publish this episode.
Oh, I can't wait.
If you thought that was a game changer,
Bring it on.
So certainly underrated on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Big time.
Okay. And I do think you're the first crossover guest that us and Joe have had. So
I think so,
good deal for us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. we may market it that way. Overrated or underrated? The split jerk.
Underrated by far. I think I at this point in my career, I might get more shit for split jerking than I do for being gay. And it's like, people need to realize the beautiful thing about Strongman is, we can press it. It gets overhead. You get the down call. That's all that matters. It's just an efficient way of going overhead. And the reason that athletes don't do it that are bigger is because it is so technical and so difficult to learn. They don't want to take the time to do it. I'm fortunate enough where I learned how to do the split jerk through CrossFit, actually, when I was just starting out as a strongman athlete. And it just kind of progressed to where it is now. So my response to anybody that thinks the split jerk is easier is, please
do it.
Go to a log, put on your 1 rep max, go ahead and do a split jerk on it and let me know if you hit it or not, because chances are you won't.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, did Mikhail Cochlear, did he do a split jerk?
I think he split jerked, didn't he?
Yeah. So Misha used to do it. Raymond Bergmanis did it when he first broke the log press world record in the 90s. And see, but now it's only a problem now because social media is more prevalent.
Right.
Everybody has an opinion, yada, 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 bullshit, whatever.
But there really only has been just a few guys that have been able to pull it off, hasn't there?
And it's because it is so fucking hard.
Right.
Like, it's intimidating to throw your body underneath a 480-pound log.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of that.
So it's just, but again, like, people don't do it because it's technical, it's hard to lift, it's hard to do, and they just don't want to take the time to learn it.
Right. Yeah. So underrated for sure on the split jerk.
Absolutely.
Okay. Overrated or underrated pride parades?
Oh, I would say overrated.
Overrated.
And we're very curious.
Give us the inside scoop on them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't drink, so.
Is that you got to be in the real party mindset? Is that what it's about?
Yeah, it's Pride it's a celebration of LGBTQ rights, and it is absolutely amazing. And we've had some fantastic times going to Pride. We've been to Manchester, UK, and places in the US. And it's great for the celebration and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people look at Pride for the parties and stuff like that. And that's not really my scene. So I would say it's a little bit overrated, but it still is a lot of fun.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like St. Patrick's Day. If you don't drink, I mean, everyone says they love St. Patrick's Day, but then you say, well, don't drink. And then people aren't so much about it now.
Right.
Exactly.
That's a good reference. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the last topic, and we always save the most serious for last. So, essentially, your scoring of the entire game relies on this. It rides on this last topic here, and really, your performance on the whole podcast rides on this one. So, no pressure, but overrated or underrated? The eggplant emoji.
Oh. I would say completely underrated.
It is kind of a hot emoji. I mean, it's kind of universally loved.
It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest question is who actually uses it as an eggplant.
that actually is a great
I've
question.
Never once talked about an eggplant while texting.
Could you eat it? Would it be humanly possible to use that as an eggplant at this point?
Like if someone's sending you a grocery list and and don't forget the and
no,
instead of eggplants,
I would be like, why? Yeah, I'd be like, why am I getting dick at the grocery store? I don't get it.
At the grocery store?
Weird.
Yeah. And who was the first person that was like, yeah, the eggplant, that's a penis.
Yeah, this is how we need to make the eggplant
look.
Yeah.
to be fair, if your penis is purple with some green on it, you really should get it checked out.
There's problems there.
There's some issues there that we need to talk about.
That is true.
Yeah. Yeah, someone making those emoji, they knew what they were doing there.
Yeah, I think so.
100%. 100%. We're like, well, we can't make an erect dick, so let's make it an eggplant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Settle for the next best thing, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good answer, though. So I guess he passed then, Tommy?
We are happy to announce you
Yes.
did, in fact, pass overrated, underrated.
Good job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. That usually wraps up the hardest hitting things we wanted to touch on. I was going to mention, too, though, an interesting point, and I don't know if everyone's aware, Derek Poundstone's your coach, and that's kind of a cool thing. He's been your coach for quite a while, right?
Yeah, so we're coming up on 3 years now. Derek's been a good friend of mine for a long time. I trained with him sparingly back when I was like 17, just getting into the sport. And, 2009, that was the Poundstone heyday.
Right.
So it was really cool to be training with him, and we were fortunate enough to stay connected throughout that time. And he's one of my best friends now, and to have him as a mentor and a coach it's so surreal, and just absolutely amazing. He has insight, and he's achieved things that I only can dream of achieving in the sport. So to have his mentorship and his tutelage really is fantastic. And coming off this injury, I've tried to really surround myself with the best people. So, I have him handling my strength, my strength workouts. I have Nathan Payton on the nutrition side. And then I just started working with Matt Frazier for conditioning workouts.
And that's a guy that knows a thing or two.
Yes.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. And you're working with Massenomics on podcasting now. So you really are working with the best of the best.
Yeah. I had this douchebag hit me up in my DMs about doing the podcast. So.
And here we are. No, that's awesome. What about anything else you want to get out there? You have some pretty cool sponsors. Actually, we were just talking about that. Is Gymshark one of your sponsors still?
Yeah, they're kind of my big one, and that's actually one that came because of the Rogan podcast, which was pretty awesome. Funny thing about that. So I get a call from the director of sponsorship, asking about wanting to, start working with me. He's like, oh yeah, like, what do you know about Gymshark? I was like, you sponsor a lot of hot guys that I look at on Instagram. Yeah. That's literally all I know.
Yes.
I was like, the other thing I know is I don't fit that. So it was really cool. It's been a lot of fun working with them. I just re-signed with them. So it's exciting. I think we have a lot of things planned, but the pandemic definitely put a hold to a lot of it, as far as releasing products and, kind of adding more to the strongman game. But hopefully that we're coming out of this pandemic, things will start opening up. Lucky enough to be brought on by Animal Pack last year, which is just absolutely amazing. They're a staple in the strength world as far as supplements go. I've been working with SPUD now for 5 years. I've been with them. And then, Ziggy's Naturals as my CBD sponsor, and they're an LGBTQ owned company, which is fantastic. And then I'm also working with ESC Sounds, as a headphone sponsor, and Certified Piedmontese for all my meat.
The meat, that's the meat sponsor. I mean,
That's
it's every strongman's dream.
That's got to feel good to have that one.
Yeah, it's pretty great. They send me anywhere between 25 and 40 pounds of beef a week.
Ooh,
so it's pretty nice.
Dang.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's cool. We were pumped to get to talk to you. We're excited. I'm really hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that you get your chance at World's Strongest Man this year. We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I'm pretty confident I will. So I'm training my ass off right now to bring a really full, complete, strong package to Worlds this year.
Awesome. You the man. Thanks, Rob.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Cool,
Rob.
thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Wow.
What do you give him, Tommy?
Cool beans.
He
Rob Kearney.
for sure gets the double cool beans.
Gets the double cool beans.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. A lot of interesting stuff too.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was going to tell him I wanted to put a bug in his ear on Derek Poundstone if we can get him on the podcast someday.
Well, if only you had a way to get a hold of
Sneak into his
Tanner.
DMs again.
It's me again.
You thought you could get rid of us with just that one podcast?
This is just the start.
We're back. I assume he's going to get to lift at World's Strongest Man because that kind of does happen every year.
That's kind of the joke with all this stuff is that
Right.
there's going to be multiple
Right.
people. I would even just think
Just
there's going to be something COVID travel
Yeah.
issue. How could there not be?
Because we're just looking at June, right?
It's not that far away. And
no.
other countries, who knows what the hell's going on there?
Right.
I don't think that's unreasonable that some people would have travel issues.
Nah, that'll come up for sure, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably be, they'll probably go through their alternates by and be like,
I don't
we
think
need
that's weird.
alternates to the alternates
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Oh no, that's cool beans for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we got this week, Tommy? Is there anything else that we had? We hit the whole 10,000 foot.
We kind of
view,
got the
didn't we?
10,000 foot view. We gave him the rundown.
We finished that rundown. Rob hadn't seen The Office, so
You haven't seen The Office.
that really
That did slow down. Pump the brakes on that part of the
I
conversation.
didn't really
there.
know where to go from there.
Yeah. I think that's everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And we talked about the new stuff that we've got, right?
Yeah. Go and get
people
the
are
new
ordering
stuff.
right now. They must be listening to us.
They
somehow.
must be. Really annoying though when Instagram decides to quit working the minute we are announcing the release.
Yes, within like 2 minutes of
Our
us
release, we've talked about it all week. It is 4:00 on Thursday. We even have
Instagram crashed
We
at
even have
4:02.
we have the timer and the countdown to let everyone know. Instagram crashes at 4:02.
and it's down for 40 minutes.
Yeah, which I mean, that's not saying that's the make or break. And
No.
we have emails we can send, or we do send, and all these other things because you can't rely on just Instagram. But it is annoying because that is the primary way our message gets out.
And also the way Instagram works, like things build momentum.
Yeah.
Like that's how,
It does.
like you can literally, if you
yep.
track it, you can see momentum build
Yep.
on
So
something
now
that
it's like,
goes
all right,
well.
yep. The announcement post goes, and now that Instagram works an hour later, they don't say,
Yeah,
we're gonna give you guys a redo.
right,
It's like, oh yeah, the 50 people that liked that before it went, well, it looks like only 50 people liked it. So that's it. We're gonna bury that one down there. No one
And
likes it.
You
so
don't
we're
just
not gonna show
delete it and repost it. Instagram knows when you're doing that. It doesn't like if you do that, and there's like not really ways around it. And like you said, I mean, we'll continue to share it. We talk about it on the podcast. We talk about email. It's by no means the end of the world in any way.
And it's
but
by no means
super
a bad
annoying.
release. It's just one of those things that's purely annoying. Like,
It's just
it kind of reminds.
You text me and you're like,
I think
is
yeah.
Instagram down? I'm like, yes. Somehow it's
the
down
closest
right
thing to this
now.
we had, which is this next story is significantly worse. Is
Yeah.
one time last summer, our website is through Squarespace, and they've been really good. They're super reliable. Their stuff always works. You don't have to worry about messing with just dumb maintenance things all the time.
Right.
But last summer,
User-friendly.
Yeah, user friendly too. Last summer when we released the 8-bit powerlifting tee for the very first time, I don't know if the shirt had been out for 15 minutes and Squarespace went down and it went down hard, like for 6-8 hours.
Like, in a way that I don't think it's ever happened before or since.
I've never seen it happen like that ever. And like you can check their logs, and like that was the only time within like a 6-month period that it was down for more than like 10 minutes. Like,
and we're sitting there like, this is fucking us.
Yeah, and at the time it was like, well, we'll never sell this shirt.
Right.
No one will know what thing. I actually think one of the first things that even started was like Brandon Campbell was like, hey, I'm trying to buy you guys a shirt and it won't work. And it's like, nothing we can do about it.
Right.
And it was
then we just look like dummies every time someone messages and be like, what kind of site you running here where you can't just go.
Yeah, and that one hurt bad to like, but
that sucks.
Luckily that still is one of our most popular. Like the word got out enough, people love that T-shirt. It still is one of our very most popular T-shirts.
Yeah, it ends up being insignificant. That event.
But at the time, it was like it felt like it was the end of the world. Like,
that's the thing.
We made these T-shirts, never gonna get sold. The system screwed us. We can't win.
That's the thing. In the moment, it's just so frustrating because those launch days for us are such big days.
Because you do weeks of getting artwork ready,
right?
Just back and forth and talking it over and trying to make things perfect.
It's not this one post that's getting screwed. It's literally like weeks of work.
It is kind of like the culmination of months of planning, because it's like, and then all this planning of what shirt does it go on? All this stuff, like, all these things. And then once you finally do it, you send the artwork off to the printer, and then it's a month it can be up to a month by the time they get it in their pipeline. They print it. It's got to get shipped across the country back to us. We got to get it into our inventory, count it, fold it, go through, make everything looks good. Yeah, get pictures, get it planned, get an email going, all this stuff. Like, it's not just like, hey, we should do a shirt today. Like, that's not the case at all.
And then the website crashes.
Yeah, and then,
after all that, when we're like, all right, today's the day.
The one thing that is always a constant is that the website's going to work. And that was the one time, like, in our 5 years that we've had it not work for us.
Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but they haven't had that problem since.
I
think it's pretty reliable. It literally was the one time that it
but
ever
it's just
happened.
like the two, like Instagram's usually pretty reliable too. Like there might be times where Instagram just feels like it's slow or like showing you wrong stuff, but usually you can count on if you open up your phone, Instagram will work.
This is one of those times when that happens. Aside of being annoyed that this is crashing and like affecting us, I always go to, they're doing something, they're changing something. It's down because they're like making some big adjustments. And when it comes, there's something on the
algorithm
back end,
change or the way some features adding in tomorrow. Like this wasn't accidental that Instagram went down.
And that is how I feel. I don't feel like it is accidental. Today's, I bet they were doing something like
they're putting in the back door for the government to read all of our DMs.
They're just trying to fuck us somehow. They're like we have to.
Either way, it's bad for us.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe okay for them, but bad for us.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So, anyways, I guess if you tried to buy a shirt at 4:00 Central Time, no, not even that. If you tried to go on our Instagram at 4:00 Central Time on the dot, you might have seen like, hey, it didn't quite work, but I think we're past that now.
Make sure to leave us podcast reviews. I hate to even bring it up already, Tommy, but I think we're on the road to 400 right now.
Are we getting to the road to the road to
330?
Whoa! Yeah, really?
So it almost begs the question: where again are we actually on the road to 400?
Wasn't it around?
What do we say, like 360
or 360?
360. We say we're on the road.
It's for sure
past 350.
Yeah.
So we have to get past 350 to be on the official road to 400. But I think at 330, it's safe to say we're on the road to the road.
Yeah, like
to 400.
I can almost see the on-ramp out in the to get on.
Scary thoughts because we're gonna have to figure out.
Yeah, that means we got to do some brainstorming at this pace, Tanner.
Yes. Sad news also too. Did you see what happened?
Did it go down?
Yeah, it's down.
Oh, that one did not last long at all.
No, they go by quick, but that's all right. I guess just more incentive.
I had like 4 people that I don't really know very quickly in passing in like the last week say nice billboard and then just go about their day, and I'm like, oh, you're just gonna like give me a straight face nice billboard and act like this isn't weird at all.
That was a lot like at work. That was like what I got from everyone.
It's like you can't even be like, hey, like nice billboard.
There was one guy at work though that started off and said like something like, oh, I see you got a billboard. I'm like, yeah, and I just thought that this was like, and he's like, yeah, that's cool. I've got a podcast too, and I'm like. And then I guess I'm cynical because then I go to, oh yeah, you got a podcast. What do you actually do? And he's like, no, I do
soccer made simple.
I'm like, really? You have a podcast? And I'm kind of like, yeah, we've been doing it for like 5 years.
He said, yeah, I was in the Aberdeen magazine.
And he's like, yeah, I've been. I started off. He does stuff on Twitch, but he's like a DJ, and like he was. I asked him where he hosted through, and it's like these things that you would know if you're really into music and like that form, like it's hosted through
like SoundCloud
and stuff like that, and he's been doing it for years, and he like mixes beats and does DJs and people tune in to like listen to
that's
him.
cool.
And I'm like, stop, this is actually cool. Like I was just like, there was 3 times leading into the conversation where I was like, just wanted to stop because I was like, can we end
not
this?
interested.
Like, I'm like, I don't want to try to even explain this to you. And like by the end of it, he was explaining things to me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like this is so cool. Like you actually, I was just so shocked that it went that
for
way.
Once,
right? I was just blown away that that's the direction it went. And I'm like,
there's still people out there. Right?
Yeah. And actually, at the end, he goes, yeah, and I'd check out your gym sometime. I remember when you guys used to go to the Y.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, this is. I'm just like, even now I was just so blown away that like it didn't go the route of like, oh yeah, nice billboard. What's a podcast?
What's
But I wanted to leave read a quick couple of reviews in order to give incentive for maybe you guys to leave us a review that haven't yet, or girls. Okay, first review, surprisingly informative for a podcast. 5 stars. Easily one of the top 5 podcasts coming out of Western Northeast South Dakota. Yep, that's right. Next one's from Trevor Lansone or Lancone. 5 out of 5 JDs. Whether JD stands for Jefferson Deadlifts or for Power and Associates Awards, this podcast gets 5 of them.
He's right.
Yep.
Context matters there. Could
Yes.
be either one. Could be 2.5 of each.
Yeah. It's a little lower than I'd like to see, but
it'd be 5 JDs. It would just be 2.5.
Okay, right. It's just
split 'em.
split. It's just split. Yes, okay.
You found the median, and then you got two
And
of
you
them.
go to the mode and you look. It's easiest to find the mode from 10,000 feet.
It
You can
is.
see where
a
the
real clear view of it.
Last one is from Anthony, and he says, "Cool beans, leaving this review in hopes I will eventually be able to afford lift shorts." Not gonna lie, the review's not gonna help.
Yeah, you kind of you're coming at that one the wrong way.
I appreciate that. We appreciate
Maybe
the review.
look at some really high yield like index funds or something, and put like 100,000 in. After a few years, maybe the interest can help you out there.
Do you ever feel like we don't do the lift shorts joke very much on the podcast?
Yeah, we don't
Like the
talk
lift
about them a ton
shorts
on the podcast.
joke exists
Mainly
more
on Instagram.
in Instagram.
It does.
Do you ever think that, or
I've never thought about it until right now. But
Yeah.
you do got a point there, Tanner.
yeah, something to think about, something
It
for you
is.
guys to
We'll have to
mull over
have
until
to have
next
the
week's
writers
episode.
write a few more lift short jokes into the podcast script.
Yeah.
On our Friday script review, we'll go over that tomorrow.
You know what-
Actually, Tanner, we're recording on a Thursday night right now. This is a little unusual for
very
us.
rare. Rob, Thursday worked out for him, and we sure
Yeah,
as shit
I
weren't
couldn't
gonna
even
miss
tell you
him
the
as a
last
guest.
time we did a Thursday.
No,
Do you know
it's
the
going
last
to be a
time
short
Do
turnaround.
you know the last time we did not do a Wednesday? I could.
No.
I feel like we've done every Wednesday.
We've
for
really
like a
been hitting
year,
that
like
good. Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
years even.
Right.
Outside of maybe a holiday or I don't know. Yeah, we really do a good
That's
job
true.
sticking to Wednesday.
Other thing, that 50% Facts podcast should be coming out. I would guess it would come out maybe the same week that this is coming out, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay, any day now.
Yeah. I want to. It's been a while. I want to listen to it myself and see what we sounded like.
I want to see what that video turned out like.
Oh, did I tell you? Jim said it turned out awesome.
Did it?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that, and
You say,
might as well
well,
tell everyone.
We kind of have a video guy and a record
Well,
guy on
he
staff
said
here.
audio and video were great.
And you said, Jim, just so you know, that will never happen again.
Yeah, like most people aren't going to have the same setup.
Every
that
other
we-
guest to it will not turn out that well.
Right. Yeah, most people are not going to have this same setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because in my head, I'm like, I go to the thought of like, oh, we should maybe have more people on video, but they're not going to have the setup on their end that we have anyways, are they?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do like FaceTime and stuff.
Right. But then it's like what's cool about this one we did with them is
Is
it's
it all looks
legitimately
really
going to
good,
look
yeah.
really good on
I'm assuming
look and
their
sound.
end looks really good.
Yeah.
Just the little bit that I could see, like, I think we probably see the low quality version, but
Right,
I'm
right.
assuming they have a high quality version. And I think ours looked pretty good.
Yeah, I did. He said it did come out really well. So more incentive to go listen to that one on 50% Facts then.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for this week's episode, right? Oh, there is one more thing, though.
One more thing. That surprise everyone's been waiting for.
If you've made it this far, you won't be disappointed. This episode was brought to you by SPUD Inc. The goal of SPUD Inc. Straps is to make products that support sports performance and help everyone achieve their training goals. They make products that last forever, won't bust your budget, and most importantly, leave no doubt about success when everything is on the line. Check them out online at spud-inc-straps.com. And this episode is brought to you by Hybrid Performance Method. They're your one-stop shop for all things fitness and online coaching. Whether your goals are training related, nutrition and body composition related, or both, Hybrid has a program for you. Dedicated Massenomics podcast listener Lou Nutter out of Nebraska, I think.
He's a dedicated listener.
He's a chiropractor, I think. He utilizes Hybrid Performance Method, and hopefully he uses our discount code MASS, M-A-S-S. That's all caps.
He's not. He should be.
He should be, because it saves you, you know why? It saves you 5% off any training or nutrition membership for the entire life of your membership at hybridperformancemethod.com. And this episode is brought to you by Texas Power Bars. In 1980, Buddy Cap set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Rob Kearney records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more, visit Texas Power Bars and buy one of the legendary bars at texaspowerbars.com. Today's show is also brought to you by The Strength Co. The Strength Co. makes premium, made-in-America barbell equipment, including their machined and E-coated plates. These plates are functional, easy to handle, accurate, and made to last a lifetime. The Strength Co plates have become the go-to choice for all members at Massenomics Gym. Fact. Check out their plates and all their other made-in-America equipment online at thestrengthco.com. That's thestrengthco.com. And last, of course not least, today's show is brought to you by Lifting Large. Lifting Large has set a new standard for customer service within the strength world. They have live website chat support and speedy email responses. Lifting Large is home of the Ground Lock Deadlift Slipper, and they're always in stock and always ready to ship. Massenomics listeners can save 20% on all Lifting Large branded products by using our discount code there. It's MASS20 at checkout. Thank you, sponsors. Tommy, where do they find you at?
They can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can find me at Tanner_Baird, but don't really care about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.